What's going on, family? Justice Severin here, back again for the next video inside of the OGC here. Today we're breaking down a video around messenger consistency. All right, this is a Facebook Live I did right inside of my original chapters marketing group, really breaking down how, number one, how important the messenger side is of that one-to-one interaction, but really how you can go ahead and move past some of those struggles and provide you with some sweet solutions here today. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. I want to give you guys all the sauce here. Let's go ahead and get right to it. Messenger consistency. All right, messenger consistency. And before I even jump in here, do me a favor so people can jump on this too. Smash that like button, smash that love button. I saw some people here drop the hashtag live already. I love it. Keep that thing going. And once again, drop a hashtag replay if you're catching the replay here. We're talking messenger consistency, and we're diving in today all in. I want to be able to help you guys with what, maybe just think of the reasons, think of solutions to fix the problems, and let's really take this thing to the next level, okay? All right, that's why we're here today. So now let's talk the importance of messenger conversations, right? So really, let's just break these down real quick. Really, number one, create sales opportunities, right? Especially, I mean, we know how important it is to do messenger just in general. We're going to talk about all that too. But even if you're just thinking from a cold audience perspective, right? For people that you haven't actually, maybe they haven't tuned into your content and they're not actually like a warmer lead, someone who's kind of raising their hand on a piece of content, whether it's a two-step or just some kind of lead generating piece, you know, just someone who really doesn't know you at all. It allows you to kind of now jump in there, start to build rapport before you even, once again, before they're even in your world, before they even are aware of your branding and anything you're kind of doing in your niche. Right, in your niche, on your platform, whatever that may be. And once again, if you're on multiple platforms, maybe they haven't seen you anywhere, and now like just using them on your Facebook Messenger can be a way to get them in, and now you can get them off to, maybe you have a YouTube channel where really is your prime. Now you can at least like convert them through there, right? For me, a lot of the times, you know, Messenger, at least it can be a place for me to do several things, but on top of that, it can also, outside of sales, just kind of help me with getting people in my Facebook group, right? Getting people into different opportunities. So just creating sales opportunities alone with a cold audience is just such a powerful reason to be leveraging messenger conversations, right? On top of that, to engage with your audience at a deeper level than our content allows, right? That's kind of what I was getting to saying before there, where at the end of the day, our content is a super powerful way, and you don't want to underestimate that. But I think that also, one, for cold people, for cold leads we're talking to, but then on top of that too, let's also talk about here now, how is it going to help the people who are actually raising their hands right in our content, right? We should be dropping, you know, if you're not dropping call to actions in your posts and your content, you're missing out, because in general, when you do drop those call to actions, right, getting people to actually interact and raise their hands with your posts, now it's actually allowing them to start a conversation. You know, it's almost like you're creating a warmer lead there, and now you can go through Messenger and actually reach out to them and have a conversation, right? Without it feeling so, once you know, with a cold lead, it can be a little more like, you know, their guard's a bit up more. But when you actually doing this through a call to action, things like that, now taking them from the content to your messenger. I mean, you can't beat something like that, honestly. When you're talking leads, those are like the freshest ones you can get there, right? So that's another big piece right there. Just to overall, right? Just to converse with those who need help, right? I mean, at the end of the day, especially if you're in this affiliate marketing niche, honestly, if you're doing this organically, no matter what niche you're in, health, whatever the case is, you're looking to help someone. And if you haven't heard me say it here, then I'll say it now. The people who are having the most success in this industry are the ones who are helping the most people, right? So keep that in mind there. Super powerful, right? I like number 3 because, like, at its basic, that is like what Messenger's all about, right? We're doing this here to, yeah, obviously it's big to build relationships and network, but that doesn't really make sales. It helps get your education up, and I'm totally fine with that. But at the end of the day, it's conversing with those who need help and showing that you're an expert, an authority, someone who's enthusiastic enough to help take to the next level for them, right? And then obviously on top of that, re-engaging and following up with warmer leads, right? People who have fit those kind of 1, 2, and 3 buckets, and now you can follow up with them later on down the line, and once again, leverage that through Messenger. And another, obviously there's ways too to getting them in through content, things like that, but at the end of the day, the content might pull them back in, but if you're not taking advantage of it on the Messenger side, you're really leaving a lot of money on the table there. So that's why before we can even talk about consistency with Messenger, I thought it was, and think it was super important to just talk about the importance of actually being on Messenger, right? So once again, go ahead and let me pull up my comments just to make sure no one has any questions over here. But once again, there we go. Now I got them up. Perfect there. And I see everyone there live. Like I said, smash that like button, smash that love button if you guys are getting some value. We're going to keep this thing rolling here. So like I was saying, realistically, what we want to do now is I want to talk about really the importance here, really making this thing happen, making it effective. How do we do that? Why it's so important. Now let's go over here and talk about, at its core, what is holding you back, right? At its core, what's holding you back from not being consistent in Messenger, right? I think that, sometimes it's just good to take a step back and kind of see what the whys are, what the reasons are, because now if you don't acknowledge this and you move forward, this is always going to be an issue, right? It's always going to be an issue. So once again, let's just kind of break these down quickly here. So number one, no Messenger framework or strategy. I think that this is one that's kind of, you could say, quote unquote obvious, but to a lot of people, if you're going in and thinking that you're just winging it, I think that's honestly going to be holding you back mentally, right? So kind of like 1A, unsure about how to go about successful conversation. Like you're not sure what a successful Messenger conversation looks like, right? And once again, if we're talking about, networking, things just like that, where, you don't really care how the conversation goes. It's like, hey, yeah, if I can get some knowledge out of this person, sure, great. Yeah, that's a win for me there, right? But at a deeper level here, what's a successful conversation that turns a sales opportunity into a sale itself, right? If you don't really have direction with your conversations to know how to make that happen, that's something that you need to really dig deep in. And I've even done trainings on this before, but like really having a true framework to kind of follow there is something that's going to be so helpful for you. So now it's going to give you that kind of clarity there, right? So now you won't feel like you're just kind of turning your wheels, trying to make this, just like going in there winging it. I think that going in there winging it is tough. And once again, if you've heard me talk about sales in general, I believe in having things like scripts, and I'm not saying specifically for Messenger, but just in general, like going in there with a plan. That's what I like about scripts in general. They allow you to go into a situation with some direction, right? So now you're not going too far off the beaten path, right? You don't want to, if you're going to hiking down a trail, out there in the middle of the woods, right? You don't want to go follow the path. You can go off a little bit, but if you go off too far where the map doesn't show, now you're screwed, right? And it's tough to get back. Same thing with the conversation. You go too far off, you're gonna have such a difficult time getting someone back into line. They're not gonna see you as that kind of quote unquote authority and someone who can actually help them. So now you're just wasting your time, wasting their time, and then you right back to square one, right? So that's the kind of one there too. Like I said, just lacking direction with your conversations. So number two, time. Is time holding you back, right? Are you doing this part-time, right? Maybe for you actually have a 9-to-5 job or whatever, quote unquote 9-to-5, right? Just something that is taking up 8 to 10 hours of your day pretty much, right? And now you have to try to find time to do Messenger, right? Maybe you can do Messenger during your work a little bit, but maybe you can't, right? So now if that's the case there too, something that I really want to stress here is not feeling like you have to be in Messenger all day long. I think it's important to realize that even people who are doing this full time with little results feel like they got to be in Messenger all day long, right? And people who are doing this full time, once again, I'm doing this full time, but I was doing this as an accountant before. Like my accountant was my 9-to-5. Like, so I had having to balance these things. You start to realize that you don't have to be in Messenger all day to start getting these results. It's more about how effective you're being in Messenger, right? I think that it's important if you are someone who has a part-time job or just has to deal with your Messenger, but go through your Messenger conversations at a certain time, choose that time, right? If you can't stay Messenger long, choose like an hour block of time, hour to 2 hours if you can, where you can just set that time aside where you can be dedicated to your Messenger. And once again, it's like, if for all of us who are kind of in it, if you're in Messenger, it's usually the kind of thing it's kind of stop and go. So you can usually multitask a little bit there. So that's what I would suggest there. Don't feel like you have to first thing in the morning, boom, go all in there and then feel like, I'm missing out all day. And now when I get home, I'm too overwhelmed. I got all these messages, and which leads real nicely actually to the next one. Because if you get home and you have all these messages in your inbox, that's a great thing, right? That means that you're actually drawing some attention. You're getting some people to converse with you. That's a great problem to have, right? So that leads into the fear, right? So I think that the fear of not knowing how to approach others, and kind of the fact that, and I put the B here too, because I think this is also a big thing, being afraid that you'll scare away leads. I think that when you have those two there, which can be drawn from not having a messenger framework, obviously, not having a real strategy to kind of follow on. Now when you kind of come back home, you see all these messages in your inbox there, it kind of is throwing you off, right? And you kind of, it's like overwhelming to go in there and dig in and think, man, what am I going to do here, right? I don't even know what to say to half these people. I feel like, oh, maybe something's happened between the last time we talked. Just take that and just push that crap to the side. Because honestly, that is not the way to be thinking. And realistically, you're doing something right if that's the best kind of problem to have, right? And just, if you ask me, it builds some authority there too. You don't have to be available 24/7. People, in general, you want to work with people who have more money than time. And so as someone who's the expert, which should be you in this situation, you should be operating on the same way, right? In general, you don't always have time. Even myself, I don't have the time to be in Messenger 24/7, or even 12 hours of the day. Because once again, too, we're getting in this business to create the freedom for ourselves too. So it shouldn't be a 9-to-5 mentality type of thing here. You set certain times and you just work on those income producing activities, work smarter and harder, and it's gonna allow you to just do so much better, right? So I want to really point on these out, because with keeping these in your mind is going to be holding you back, even with the solutions, right? So that's why this is just so important here. So I hope that's making sense. If that's making sense, smash that like button, smash that love button. Once again, I just want this to really hit home for you guys, so we can continue taking it to the next level there, right? So next up, really, let's just think of kind of, like I said, we're kind of slowly transitioning into the solution a bit here, right? So once again, it all kind of starts, if I kick back, the importance of messenger conversations, right? Just how crucial they are to actually your organic business, and realistically how you won't survive without them, right? You have to at least point that out. Now at its core, what's holding you back, right? Getting past these kind of mental blocks, these hurdles here. Maybe even not mental, but maybe even actual framework struggles there, lack of a framework problems that you have. And now jumping into kind of the operation of it, right? So first touch, this is, once again, I'm kind of doing this super high level just so we can kind of make this that much clearer for you. I just want to give some clarity on this topic. So first touch here, right? First touch could be maybe first touch you can see as when you add a friend, right? You add a friend, you accept a friend request. That's the first time that you're kind of being introduced to a person. Maybe it could be, honestly, sometimes you don't have to even add a friend. Sometimes I'll have people who are not friends of mine, and they'll still even just reach out on my content. They'll still like some of my content, reach out in a call to action, raise their hand on a piece of a post that I put out there, right? So just first touch in general. Someone who I did, if you're in an interview or something like that, I've had people who kind of see me there, and that's like, once again, just the first touch of where they're starting to find out who you are. Just once again, becoming aware of you and your brand, right? That kind of first touch there. And so now at that point, that's when we want to at least be able to get to a conversation, right? And so it doesn't have to be right then and there. At least the seed's been planted with the first touch. And honestly, I've seen it work both ways, where there's people where, hey, I'll reach out once that seed's been planted there, start a conversation, or sometimes I won't even, usually because of time, I won't reach out to a person, and then a conversation happens because they maybe raised a hand on a piece of content, or because they, once again, saw me on an interview, there was something there. They joined the Facebook group and we started a conversation, right? Just something there that eventually led to a conversation after. Right? So either way you go, once again, you can have the first touch, but once again, even with the first touch, it's still kind of cold, right? I wouldn't consider, just because someone adds you on Facebook, that's not a warmer lead, right? I would definitely still consider that a cold lead. So once again, just your first touch is whenever that kind of brand awareness comes, that they kind of come into your world, come into your atmosphere, right? You know what I'm saying there? So now from there, it goes to the conversation. Right, that's why we're here today, right? We're talking messenger consistency, the conversation. So let's just assume that this is happening. We already talked about here how many different types of ways this can happen, right? Through cold leads, warm leads, content, whatever the case may be, inbound, outbound, either way, a conversation's being started. So now from the conversation, that's where really, once again, we start now using our framework, just doing what we have to kind of create a sales opportunity. And potentially a sales opportunity has been made already in this section here, right? Somehow, whatever got from the first touch to whatever got them to start that combo, whether it was you reaching out or from content or anything, we really want to now turn this sales opportunity and start to make it into a true opportunity, right? So start qualifying, start seeing if someone's actually a legitimate lead here, so we can know how deep into this conversation we have to go. And at the end of the day too, this conversation could just be about building a relationship, right? Planting the seed for the long term. I talk about all the time too, where I've had sales where I first talked with someone and, even just like as of recent, I feel like last month I closed like 3 sales with people. 2 were in January and 1 was like back in December that we first talked. So at the end of the day, just planting that seed in a conversation can also be huge for the future. It's a marathon, not a sprint in this industry. Like, please remember that. That's going to help you out so much. And that's also why focusing on building that brand long term, you can't underestimate that, all right? Because that's serving your audience, taking care of your audience, and now a conversation is going to be super powerful. That's even why, if you look at the last training, I was talking about pre-framing. It's deeper. There's all these things connect. Like, don't fool yourself. This is the truth here. All right, so now conversations, right? We all know how, I could do a whole another video on conversations, but that's not really that's just the main topic. We're talking about the consistency of the combo. So I'm not going to dig too deep on that. So now it goes from the conversations to the follow-up, right? So we have your first conversation, you plant the seed, having conversations there. And after that, now you're kind of getting to a place where eventually a follow-up happens, right? Maybe you reach out and and ignite the next conversation, the follow-up conversation. And then pretty much from there, eventually, right, there's different ways to go about this, but eventually a sales opportunity has to happen, right? The sales opportunity is kind of already arrived at some point, and that's why you see I have the arrow going from the conversation down to the sales opportunity, because if you're talking to a cold lead or you're just talking to someone where this kind of first conversation is going well, it can go directly into a sales opportunity, right? But sometimes it doesn't always happen. Maybe you're just planting the seed, and now instead you're going to the follow-up, where eventually the follow-up can happen so many times, in so many different ways. Maybe they raise their hand a piece of content. You're just kind of reaching out again to follow up to see how they were since the last conversation. Once again, these are all great reasons to be following up too. All right, and so now you take it from there. You get to the sales opportunity, right? So now the sales opportunity is really just that is what we're all pushing for, right? Especially we're talking high ticket sales, we're talking low ticket sales, we're talking sales period. We just want to start getting some commissions going. So the sales opportunity is that's the end zone, right? That's the place we want to be. That's when we've made it, right? It's not when we've made it to the sale, but at least without that, what are we doing here? Right? What are we doing here? So once again, elevating on the importance. So now when you take it from there, how do we fix consistency, right? How do we fix consistency with our messenger? Once again, touching, seeing all those points there, realizing just how crucial this game is how crucial it is to have messenger in your process, in your sales funnel. When you hear people saying the words funnel all the time, you're thinking click funnels, drop funnels, grew funnels. Like, forget that crap, right? What's a real funnel? A funnel is taking someone down a path, right? We all just think about funnel as taking them down this kind of website path. But that's not the case, right? It's just a funnel, right? A funnel can be you getting someone to your page, and then they follow a process that eventually gets them to a conversation, which eventually gets them to a sale, right? And just like a funnel, you can have an upsell. Don't limit your mindset, all right? Because that's really going to be hurting you if you kind of think of it that way. All right, so now, like I said, how to fix this consistency, right, in your messenger conversations, in your messenger game, because we've already talked about how important it is, and now how do we fix it? All right, set certain hours in your day for messenger. And that's why I say do what works best for your schedule. For me, I don't wake up and respond to messages because that's not really. There's other things I prefer to do in my mornings. I like writing content in the mornings. I like hanging out with my family in the mornings, before the day starts to really get going. So taking advantage of these things here, that's really, just knowing yourself, knowing your schedule, if you work, just going ahead and taking advantage of those times, maybe 5 o'clock to 7 p.m., 5 o'clock to 9 p.m. You can just respond to messages at your own pace, but before then, there's just no chance, right? So just know what works best for your schedule there. Set a certain number of I think I meant to say, yeah, I guess I did type that right. Set a certain number of messages to send daily. Accountability there. I think that how to fix your consistency, if you're not thinking of an actual messages that you want to be sending, conversations you want to be engaging with on a daily basis, it's going to be really easy to let these things fall through the crack, right? Like if you don't, if I'm just going in like, okay, today my goal is just to have a conversation, right? It's like, well, if maybe I start or maybe I don't, but like I had a goal of one conversation. That's not a good goal to have, right? Especially if your goal is to have conversations, you got to set a number on that. It's because it's going to allow you to hold yourself accountable, and it's going to allow you to now keep going, keep pushing. And now, it's like when you strive for perfection, you're never going to be perfect, but you'll come up short, right? So let's just say you're striving to talk to 50 people a day. If you strive for that, maybe it's going to be real tough to get. But at the end of the day, at least it's going to get you to, you're going to definitely talk to like at least 15 or 20, right? And then on good days, maybe you'll get the 50, whatever that is there. But setting some kind of goal there to hold yourself accountable is just huge, right? And now also how to fix that consistency using a messenger framework, right? I think that, as I've already stated through this, lacking that clarity of really how to go about a message conversation, knowing how to walk them down that path, how to qualify a lead to see whether they're a good fit or not for what you have. These are things here that are just super important to allowing yourself to not have those mental blocks, to allow yourself to not really get thrown off by just the little things, right? Once again, I think it's a lot of things is mental where once again, if you go to your inbox, after a long day of work, and now all of a sudden you see all these people in your inbox there, that is a good problem. Like you've been building this brand up, you've been doing XYZ, and now people in your inbox, that shouldn't deter you away. Like, once again, maybe right when you get home, that doesn't mean you have to go and like, all right, we go right to it, right? Maybe you need an hour, whatever you need, just like take that time and then go into it. Hold yourself accountable to it. That's the way you're really gonna start leveraging that there. All right, then another big piece here, detaching from the sale, right? I think that's another big piece that's holding people back too, because even with the messenger side, how that's kind of a mental block, this is another big mental block too. You go into a conversation knowing that it will most likely not turn into a sale. As someone who's had a handful of conversations, to say the least, I can tell you right now, the majority of them are not going to be a sale, right? So just have the mentality. I think that it'll allow you to realize that, hey, not to say that you're not going to screw this up, but basically, some conversations you just can't win. So just go into it with the right mindset, go into it with the right strategy, and accept what comes out of it. Go out of there showing that you're an expert and show that you're someone who can actually help them. And then whatever happens, right? You don't have to worry about the outcome so much. At the end of the day, when I keep this mentality, because at the end of the day, if someone buys from me, it's like just a nice surprise, right? It's like, oh shoot, this worked out. Awesome. Let's keep plugging away. Right? So that's really, like I said, I wanted to really help you guys stay with this messenger consistency and just help you to kind of pinpoint what the real issues are that may be slowing you down, may not be allowing you to take advantage of really your messenger game as much as you should be there. So I just want to kind of point that out there, make sure you guys know. Drop any questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer any. Those are the kind of, like I said, those are the main points where I really wanted to talk about for you guys today, and really just kind of dive that in so you know where to focus your energy, right? Where to not get bogged down on. The importance of why we're doing this. This is organic marketing, right? I'm not talking about paid ads today. This isn't even for, and honestly, you could even say this is for the paid ads people too, because at the end of the day, when I run paid ads, which I don't run paid ads often anymore, but when I run paid ads, I'm running them to start conversations. I'm just trying to get my reach out there so that now I can get them in a conversation with me, right? I'm not running an ad, right? And majority of people, internet marketers too, they're running an ad to eventually, yeah, there's some out there where they're getting you to send you to a sales page. That's usually lower ticket stuff. If we're dealing with this high ticket world, most people want to talk to somebody, want to know who they're getting into business with, who they're getting into bed with. So just knowing this, keeping this mentality is just going to serve you so much better. All right, so I really hope that stuck with you guys there and that really hit, because once again, I just know how it's just something where people can really struggle on. I just want to really make sure that you're not getting bogged down in the little things there. Stay consistent as if your life depended on it. Pretty much like I said, at the end of the day, as I showed you in the chart there, realistically, without the conversation, the sale's not happening, right? Without the conversation here, the sale doesn't happen. So just with that in the back of your mind, I'm not saying that to put pressure on it, because once again, if you feel like there's pressure from it, that may mean that once again your strategy isn't solid enough. The pieces, like I said here, are just holding you back a little bit, right? What's holding you back here, right? Your time situation is messing you up. The fear is messing you up. The strategy, these things are getting in your way. Because realistically, when you look at it, with the conversation being as crucial as it is in this high ticket game, even low ticket. Shoot, if you're starting, all you have is a low ticket offer. I mean, the best way to really get to someone is through a conversation. Once again, so don't just rely on a sales video. That can be helpful, but at the end of the day, how are you going to handle objections? The sales video doesn't handle all the objections, because there's no, the video doesn't talk back to a person, right? So keep this in mind here. I hope this is super helpful. Like I said, I just want to see you guys kill it. I love having my family here in the Justice for Affiliates community just crushing it. So take this, launch it, love it, dive into it, man. And like I said, I want to see you guys still winning. So once again, hey, if you guys watched it this long here, drop that hashtag live. If you watched the whole thing, drop the hashtag replay. Share it, love it, drop a like, drop a share, drop a love, drop a like, all this good stuff, man. But appreciate you guys being here as always. Hey, I don't see any questions, so hopefully that just means it was clear for you guys. So there we go. Appreciate you guys sticking through there. See you in the live. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, till next time though, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Make sure you go ahead and like this if you got a ton of value from, which I hope you did. Subscribe to the channel and absolutely go ahead and join us in our Original Chapters community. Links right down there in the description. And as always, you are designed to become who you choose to be. I'll see you later.